I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Friday, November the 5th, brought to you in part by Zactran. Bovine respiratory disease steals pounds. Zactran pounds back. Remember to observe your 35-day withdrawal period after treatment. For more information, visit with your BI representative or go to Zactran.com. Call me maybe. Well, your Packers are even thinking that this time. We've been going through the last couple of years here, and it's just gotten worse over time. And what little bit of negotiated trade that we have out in the country in your 5-area feeding region, your Packers will come out and give a bid at times. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But if the feedlots don't take that bid, then likely they'll never get a call back, and likely not even get a call for the next couple of weeks. They'll just let them sit on the cattle until they get really big, and then they'll take the cattle and incur penalties on there. But it's changed now, guys. We've gotten really current here, and they've got short supplies of market-ready cattle in these feedlots, and numbers are dwindling. Packers are short bought. They're needing cattle. They especially need the top grading cattle to fill their needs. Their purchasers are needing product to get ready for the holiday season, and everything's just kind of come to a head. And the only thing that's keeping this market from getting $1.30 or more is when we have weak-sistered feedlots that cave into them. But we've got a lot of guys out there with their heels dug in. I mean, they're bulldogging, and they were just about ready to turn the horn and grab the nose, because they are dug in, guys, and they're getting calls back. So the Packers are going to farmer feeders and smaller lots that never get a visit from a Packer. They're getting 2 or 3 different Packers coming out to their place, and they're like, "Oh, I forgot about you. I can't believe you're out here at my place." And they show up. They give them a bid. The guys are staying stuck. They said, "We want 130. We're not going to deliver them for that. We don't want any kind of a grid deal. We want cash price. We want 130 or better." Some are priced higher than that. And the Packers leave, and then they call back. And then we have a tele-auction, and anytime you have any kind of an auction, you know we're going to get a better market. But, you know, getting the call back, that's very, very important. And you know, you get older like me, you don't get calls back very often, but these feedlots are getting calls back, and that's very important here. And it's kind of like that second bidder that we talk about. That could be your most important person, is your second bidder, because whenever you start having some type of competition, we've gotten to the point where there's zero competition in our direct sales for fat cattle. Everybody just schedules them in, or they're on a sweetheart deal, or just get in on a grid deal or something like that. No, when you get people, these Packers out there, and they're needing cattle, they don't have enough, they haven't bought enough yet, didn't get much bought on Thursday, we've got a Friday standoff. Something's going to give. They don't have enough to make kill and get started next week. And so if the guys will just continue to stay dug in and demand the 130, then at some point we're going to get 130, and then the floodgates will open, and then we're going to get market like crazy, and it's going to be worse for the Packers in the coming weeks, next week and the week after that. We're even hearing about these feedlots that you know, have several cattle that they've got on their show list, and the Packers come in and look at them, and they'll give them a bid of 128, and we didn't have any of that confirmed with USDA, but there was 129 out there on Thursday, guys. I heard it from several different people, but Packers didn't turn it in. They don't want to advertise that they're having to give more for cattle. They'll wait and turn them in late in the day, and then they'll show up the next morning on the cleanup, and nobody pays any attention to that. But there was 129 out there, and they'll offer 128, or in some instances 129. They just don't want to give the 130, because it's just a brass ring out there that will show that your feedlots are winning. And so they'll bid the 128 or the 129 in some cases, and then these cocky feedlots, which is fantastic, is happening. They'll say, "Okay, I'll give you that 1 pen of bigs over there for that," and the Packers are taking them. Normally they wouldn't just take the pen of bigs, but they've got to have the cattle and really getting aggressive out there. It's a great thing to see. It's the way that things ought to be. If we had a minimum negotiated cash mandate, we would see this more often. But we're in a pretty good place right now. I love my Feeder Flash gang members, and for you guys that don't know, my friends have started a Facebook page called Feeder Flash Gang Members, and the Feeder Flash Gang gets on there, and we don't mean anything by it. It's just people that kind of follow the Feeder Flash, and I love my Feeder Flash Gang members. I love to have my Feeder Flash Gang rallies whenever we go and have a talk there. But Jim Felton started the Feeder Flash Gang. He's a purebred breeder up in Springdale, Montana, a good friend of mine, and that deal has really took off. But for you Feeder Flash Gang members that are attending the Angus Convention in Fort Worth this weekend, I'm not going to be there. I'm going to be selling racehorses at Heritage Place in Oklahoma City, but DV Auction is going to have a booth there. Go by booth number 701 and get you some swag there. We've got koozies and we've got stickers for the back window of your pickup, and go by there and pick some of that stuff up and give Jason Ronci and Dusty Markham a hard time there, my cohorts that I work with, but they're going to be there if you can find them in the booth and not in the bar. But you may go to the bar first and then see if you can get them to go back to the booth. But you guys are having a production sale, they'll get you signed up for that. But you know, I love my Feeder Flash Gang members, including some guys that live up in Gering, Nebraska, and I want to wish a happy birthday to Monty Nealon from Gering, Nebraska. His father-in-law owns a sale barn there. They like to watch the Feeder Flash on a daily basis, and happy birthday to him, and glad to have you guys watching on a regular basis. Let's talk about your board for Thursday. December live cattle futures were down $1.02 at 130.62. February down 80 at 135.85. Going your back months, your live cattle, they were down 12 cents to down 60, but it hasn't hurt your cash trade out there yet. You know, we're getting at least steady on the little bit of trade, and most of these feedlots are turning the bids down. So, you know, the board was down a little bit on Thursday, but it's been up this week and not hurting the trade at all. And your feeder board was down too, but sure not hurting the market in your sale barns, and we'll talk about that at the end like usual. But November feeder cattle down $1.15 at 158.02. January down $1.05 at 158.17. Back months, your feeder cattle down 47 cents to down $1, and I would be very surprised if your board wasn't higher on Friday, because these feedlots have got their heels dug in, and we're going to get some prices that we haven't seen for quite a while. But the little dab of negotiated trade that was reported and confirmed on Thursday, Iowa about 1,200 head, only 8,600 head for the week. These packers need more cattle than that. They're going to have to pay for them. Live sales 127 to 128, dress sales 202. Nebraska about 1,100 head, only 9,500 head for the week. We had over 30,000 last week, guys. It's going to take more money to get that trade. But live price in Nebraska 128 only and 202 dressed. Kansas only 300 head and only 6,200 head for the week, all at 128. Texas about 500 head confirmed on Thursday, 4,900 head for the week. They had over 10,000 last week. Going to take more money, guys. 128 was the live price and the only price in the Southern Plains. Box beef cutout values were up again. Of course, packers don't want to talk about that, but they're getting their market back established, as I said earlier, with their end users and retailers coming in and buying this product for the holiday season. But choice cuts on Thursday afternoon, $290.22, up $1.73. Selects were up $0.50 at $268.22. Some real fundamental bullish news came with our actual slaughter data. It came in for the week ending October the 23rd, so that's always 2 weeks behind, but 918 pounds on your average dressed steer carcass weight. That sounds pretty big, but it's down 4 pounds from the previous report, down 11 pounds from the same week a year ago, and this is 2 weeks behind. If it was caught up to present time, I expect that would even be lighter. So that's another key note that says that we've gotten really current here. Our weights are starting to back down, and so that's another fundamental shot in the arm, and we love those. Talk about what else is going on. Your livestock risk services. I've been talking about these policies that protect you against the market going down. These LRP policies, livestock risk protection. Livestock risk services can help you out with that. They're professionals. Tell them how many cattle you got. You don't have to have square loads. They don't have to weigh 800 pounds. They can be stocker weights. They can be heifers. Can be smaller deals. Whatever you want to do. Government helps subsidize those in some cases. But go to livestockriskservices.com and get a hold of those guys to help protect you for the down market, because we can continue to bitch and moan about this market, but it's up here pretty good, guys, and you don't want to miss out and get caught on a down market. But it's time to name the next market of the month here on the Feeder Flash. Every month we feature a market that's really done a great job over the last month, and we try to cover the whole area, and they don't necessarily have to be DV auction customers or anything like that. It's just somebody that's doing a really good job marketing cattle for their customers. And this month's market of the month is St. Onge Livestock, St. Onge, South Dakota. My good friend Justin Tupper, he's the hero of the Senate Ag Committee hearing. You guys remember him, did such an excellent job there, telling the story about how the cattle producers are getting screwed and the packers are getting rich. And he's just a really good market man, and he's an ambassador for the industry. Got a good sale barn there in western South Dakota. They've been making, it's been their time to shine, and their big run that they've been waiting on came right in the middle of a lot of mud, because they finally got some moisture, and it came in the form of snows there kind of early in the season. But having huge runs of calves, huge runs of way up cows, and and having truck problems, can't get the cattle out, but he's been managing all that. He's got a lot of pens there. He was telling me how many cows that these cow packers have been letting lay over there in his pens, and I just said, how are you managing all that? And he says, well, it's a full-time job for sure. He also runs Newell Sheep Yards there close by in South Dakota there. But St. Onge Livestock, congratulations to them. And they are our market of the month from Zach Tran, and they'll get some swag from their local BI rep, and give out some of that free caps and whip flags and different things like that to their employees. So congratulations to them, and I'm glad that they received it this month. Don't forget, coming up this weekend is the Gene Plus Brangus sale. Now that's a two-day production sale, going to be in Concord, Arkansas down there, but really top quality Brangus. They've got registered females selling here today on Friday, November the 5th. That's an evening sale at 5:30 in the evening, and then on Saturday at noon they've got the Brangus bulls selling, be top quality throughout. That starts at noon on Saturday again, and then as soon as the bull sale's over, then they're going to be selling commercial females, and they've got a lot of nice jags of commercial females in there, and some really top producers, including my friend Wes Spinks there from Missouri, and he's got some of his top quality commercial females in there, and you don't want to miss that sale. Watch it on dvauction.com. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market. Your real-time index on DV auction on Thursday, late in the day, sitting at 153.10. That's based on an 800-pound steer, down a little over $1 from Wednesday's close. So it's tough whenever your board goes down. But I think the truck problem is the biggest thing. I don't care where you're at, who you're talking to, whether they're talking about trucking cows, fat cattle, calves, moving cattle out of the sales, anything. There are not enough trucks to go around, and it's just like everything else. Our supply chains have been interrupted. That's why we're seeing empty shelves in your stores for different things. That's why it takes forever to get anything in when you order it. It's just a kind of a log jam there. It all started from President Magoo, rewarding people to stay home and sit on their ass and not work. And so then we don't have truckers out there to help. And then now that the supply chains are choked down, a lot of these trucks are pulling reefers or flatbeds just trying to get products and supplies out to people. But it's really put a crunch on our bull haulers. And it's hurting the market, and it has all fall, and it's going to continue to do that till we see the runs lighten up a little bit. But that's probably hurting the market more than anything. Talk about some of your sales on Thursday. Farmers and Ranchers Livestock in Salina, Kansas had 3,100 head there. Market was pretty uneven, and they've got those Kansas market reporters, and you can't tell heads or tails really what's going on. But didn't have any huge strings in there, and it was kind of well split between calves and feeder cattle, and it was kind of an uneven market. And we've seen that all week this week. Your markets have been kind of uneven, just depending on the reputation of what they have there, how long the calves have been weaned, whether they've had 1, 2, 3 rounds, or they're just all natural out there and balling. But that's your big difference in the price, is just the condition of the cattle right now. Talk about a big sale on Thursday. Belle Fourche Livestock, Belle Fourche, South Dakota, 7,000 head there. And I pulled the market for them on the automated market. They pretty much just had all 5-weight calves, and that's what they've been moving the most of. But with 7,000 instead of 9 or 10 or 11,000, they're starting to get on the back side of those. They've spread that calf run out quite a bit because it started early, and it's going to end kind of early too. And so we're starting to get to the end of those calf runs out there in the northern plains. But they had 2,014 head of your 5-weight steer calves. They averaged 550 pounds with a weighted average price of $173.56. And that's about steady with what they had last week. So that's a good job holding steady there with no trucks to haul them off and everybody chock full of those calves. 1,184 head of the 5-weight heifer calves averaged 533 pounds at $154.27. That was a couple bucks lower. How about Ogallala Livestock Auction, Ogallala, Nebraska? 5,500 head there, and the market was sharply higher than last week, just the way it fell, but as much as 12 to 14 bucks higher on some of those calf weights there, and they had a stick out calf weight on some heavy 5-weight calves. And you see the prices big on your light 5s, weighing right in the high 4s and the low 5s. They'll get close to $2 a pound, but a lot of times when you get into the heavy 5s or in the 6-weight calves, sure enough, the 7-weight calves, nobody really wants them right now. But you see the market tail away. But a big price on Ogallala on 105 head, 568 pound steer calves, bring $184, and that's a big price. Pratt had a smaller sale. Of course, they've been having their Monday calf specials, so the bulk of the sales have been on Monday with not a lot of cattle left for Thursday. But on Thursday in Pratt, they had some yearlings bring big money, 58 head, 859 pound yearling steers in Pratt Livestock, bring $167.50. But the best quote that I saw anywhere, your Zach Tran top quote for the day, is a market we don't talk about very often, if ever, but a market that I'm familiar with in north central Missouri, New Cambria Livestock Auction in New Cambria, Missouri. My former co-worker there, Tracy Thompson, she's a Missouri Department of Ag market reporter there, and they do a good job there in Missouri reporting that market, and she does an excellent job. She sent me a quote out of New Cambria, 61 head, 707 pound fancy steers, bring $177.50. That's your feeder flash for Friday.